Just a few days ago, we told you that a number of dead fish washed ashore at Montague Beach. During that time, fishermen who work in that area expressed concern that their sales would take a dive because of the scare. Well, today, environmental health officials say that the fish sold in that area is indeed safe, and Tuesday's incident was isolated. Assistant Director Dwayne Curtis says investigations continue, but they still don't know the root of the problem. He also told us that they're seeking regional and international help in getting to the bottom of this matter. Montague fish vendors are being commended for cooperating in the investigation and exercising healthy sanitary practices when selling their fish. A traffic mishap on Duke Street and Blue Hill Road near Government House disrupted the flow of traffic for hours earlier today. Eyewitnesses say a 20-foot Mack truck was apparently attempting to make the turn from Duke Street onto Blue Hill Road when it overturned, dumping lumber onto the street. Fortunately, the driver of this truck escaped unharmed. We spoke with this eyewitness, construction worker Stephen Monroe.
Truck come and, we heard it tumbling down, and a lady was crossing the road just screaming. Started screaming. We didn't know what happened until we came out of the gate and see the guy crawling out of the truck. Really, I think he's pretty lucky. I think he's pretty lucky.
In other news, this afternoon, 4 members of the American Council of Educators Fellowship, or ACE, paid a courtesy call on Governor General Sir Arthur Foulkes today. The ACE Fellows program focuses on leadership development, preparing participants to lead American colleges and universities. Now, a component of the program is to experience institutions globally, and the College of the Bahamas has been selected. COB's president, Dr. Betsy Vogel-Bose, who once participated in the project, talked about what this means for COB.
These 4 people that are visiting us are the future leadership of colleges. It was a program that I was in myself in 2003, and it was a life-changing experience. One of the flagship parts of this program is that the scholars spend a year at a host institution learning about a different culture than their own campus. It's something that I would love to see the College of the Bahamas send some people to in the future, and perhaps even receive a fellow to study with us here.
Participant Peter Wildridge of Houston Community College said that both countries share some of the same educational challenges.
Watching the different departments in the college, meeting with different people, talking with them about their responsibilities, their duties, about their issues, their challenges, the students' challenges. As I said earlier, it's been, in a way, comforting to know that the issues that we deal with are very similar, and so that we can truly help each other to address those issues, that we can bring ideas to the college and the college can give us ideas in addition, so that we can help each other solve these problems together.
Hundreds will walk and run the streets of the capital tomorrow for the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure. It's all about raising funds to assist women with breast cancer. Sayan Thompson has more.
Millions of strong women hand in hand fighting for cure. That's the mantra of Susan G. Komen, the global leader of the breast cancer movement. Since 1982, the organization has invested more than $1.9 billion in helping women worldwide through education and awareness, treatment, and finding a cure for breast cancer. Here in the Bahamas, Susan G. Komen's partnership was formalized just several years ago, and since then it's been benefiting Bahamian women suffering from the disease.
We first started working with the Cancer Society of the Bahamas on the Making Strides Walk, and then it grew and evolved. We met Sister and the great work that we were doing.
National board member and global ambassador for Susan G. Komen, Tina Lewis, knows firsthand the struggles breast cancer patients face. Being a 12-year survivor, Mrs. Lewis is passionate about giving additional help to Bahamian women.
We have a commitment. Wherever there's a need, we are committed as Komen to fight this disease until we find a cure.
Recognized around the world for its Race for a Cure events, the Susan G. Komen organization has already donated thousands of dollars to organizations here like the Cancer Society of the Bahamas and the Sister Breast Cancer Group.
When I toured Princess Margaret Hospital as a breast cancer survivor and saw my sisters being treated in chemotherapy, my heart just went out, and so I actually personally donated $10,000, and then I challenged my friends to match me. I ended up raising $25,000, and then the Links organization matched my $25,000, and then Coleman matched the $25,000.
Susan G. Komen representatives are in the Capitol for the 5K run walk set for this Saturday at 7 a.m. At the end of the race Saturday, the organization will announce their donation to the Bahamas. Cyan Thompson, ZNS News.
Well, there are thousands of Bahamians living with breast, prostate, ovarian, and other forms of cancer, and many more who don't even know they're suffering from the disease. So to encourage those persons affected by the illness to keep the faith, members of the Cancer Society of the Bahamas invited Bishop Simeon Hall to speak to their monthly meeting this week. Bishop Hall said while there is no known cure for cancer, as a pastor, he'll continue to pray for the spiritual healing of the families whose lives have been touched by this terminal illness.
I am safe within the mark to assert that there is hardly a Bahamian who has not had a family member sick or who died of cancer. The prevalence of cancer throughout our land is one of the greatest threats to Christian faith in the love and power of our God. Persons who are cancer victims as well as family members are wrestling with the polemical questions of human suffering. The problem of sickness, in its multitudinous forms, demands that Christian pastors speak biblically and clearly about sickness, healing, and even death.
Now, on a personal level, Reverend Hall talked about how cancer affected his family as two of his sisters-in-law succumbed to the illness.
I recall so vividly the cancerous death of my two sisters-in-law. The first was at a time when Mrs. Hall was pregnant with our last child. We embraced life at two critical extremes, birth and death. Mrs. Hall attended her oldest sister's funeral just a few days before giving birth to our last child, Sanderia. The joy and ecstasy of a new arrival was punctuated by the gloom of the death of a dearly beloved sister. We live much of life just like that.
The local daily is reporting that there may allegedly be some bad news brewing within the Atlanta's Brookfield Asset Management Group transfer deal. The print media is reporting that legal action was filed in the state of Delaware against Brookfield Management to block the debt for equity swap with Kerzner International. The Minister of State for Finance, Shivago Lang, telling the business community at the 2012 Bahamas Business Outlook Thursday that while challenges to the economy linger, it's not as severe as it was during its peak. However, the government fully appreciates that rebalancing of the economy must occur, and they've already taken steps in that direction, as future action will depend on growth, reforms in our fiscal regime to improve our revenue yields and make taxation less regressive, and managed controls in our spending over the foreseeable future. And still on news from the 2012 Bahamas Business Outlook, National Insurance Board Director Algernon Cargo clarifying for Fidelity Business that despite a report in Friday's local daily, when Phase 2 of the National Drug Prescription Plan is launched and the entire population is covered, that's when NIB will recommend a 1% increase in contributions. But he said persons will then be receiving lower insurance costs as NIB will be paying for all medication. From the international business scene, European officials and business investors were on alert Friday following reports that several Eurozone countries were about to be downgraded by rating agency Standard & Poor's. The move by S&P could mean that several national governments of Europe boasting top-tier credit ratings get knocked down below AAA status. And from the region, Swiss financial services company UBS has recommended that investors stay away from the new government of Jamaica's debt due to uncertainty about the newly elected government and the country's relationship with the International Monetary Fund. The new administration hopes to negotiate a different borrowing arrangement with the IMF And a team from that organization will visit Jamaica next week to meet with the new Minister of Finance, Dr. Peter Phillips, who wants to replace the current standby agreement with a more flexible extended fund facility. Remember, you can send us an email or join us on www.znsbahamas.com or become our friend on ZNS's official Facebook page.
It's time for today's Doctor's Hospital Health Tip. Wish you could always remember yesterday like it was only yesterday? Then take a 20-minute walk today and every day. Yep, in a recent study, that's all the extra activity it took to help counter faltering memories in a group of people over the age of 50. It has long-lasting benefits. After just 6 months of doing an extra 20 minutes of exercise daily, a group of adults only experienced slight losses in memory and verbal fluency was improved. More good news, the exercise didn't have to be terribly taxing. Not only does walking work, but so do swimming and ballroom dancing. Even better, the improvements persisted for 12 months after the study ended, and some benefits lasted up to 18 months. The research suggests that exercise may help delay Alzheimer's in at-risk adults, people who have mild cognitive decline. Get moving for your body and mind. Although it's not yet fully understood how staying active improves the mind, it may be that the boost in blood flow nourishes brain tissue and by extension stimulates the generation of new neurons, synapses, and blood vessels. Exercise can also relieve stress and enhance your mood.